Hello everyone, welcome back to Believer Science Academy. This is topic of the day. Today we will discuss one of the most contentious or debated topic in Indian politics, that is the Great Nicobar Project. The opposition call this project as a disaster in the making, whereas the government calls it the project for the future, project of strategic national importance. So in this video, we'll discuss what is the Great Nicobar Project, what are the concerns, and what is its importance. Everything will be discussed in today's video. So the Great Nicobar Island Project. Where is it? Obviously, it is in the Great Nicobar Island, the southernmost of the Nicobar group in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So this is Andaman Islands. Just zoom it in. This is Andaman Islands, and this is the Little Andaman, and this is the 10-degree channel that separates Andaman Islands and Nicobar Islands. And here it is the Car Nicobar, Middle Nicobar, and this Great Nicobar Island. So the Great Nicobar project is happening on this stretch of island. If you see the first page, you can see not the complete Nicobar Island is not being used here. The only this stretch of Nicobar Island is being used for Nicobar Island project. Okay, this stretch. So this is where the Great Nicobar project is going to happen. We'll discuss what is it. The cost is of around 72,000 rupees crore. Aim is to transform Great Nicobar into strategic, economic and ecological hub, integrating port, industrial corridors, tourism and infrastructure. So main aim is the development of the Nicobar Islands. Development of Nicobar Islands through infrastructure of port, industry, tourism and infrastructure. The proponent is the government of India in collaboration with private and strategic investors. So that is the basic thing about Great Nicobar project. So strategic significance. Geopolitical is it is located near Malacca Strait, which is very vital for Indo-Pacific trade and naval security. In defense, supports Indian Navy and Coast Guard operations in the Indo-Pacific region, and economic potential hub for logistics, trade and tourism in the Andaman and Nicobar Island. Okay, so you should know about this Malacca Strait. If you draw the map of Asia, let us draw the map of Asia. If this is India, and this is Myanmar, and this is Thailand, and it goes like this, and from here Indonesia starts. Sumatra, Java here, and this is Malaysia, and this is Indonesia, and here it is Philippines, and here it is Australia, etc., etc. So this is the map of India. Where is Andaman Nicobar Islands located? Andaman Nicobar Islands are located here. So this is the Nicobar Island. If it is located here, and what is the Malacca Strait? This is the Malacca Strait. This is Indian Ocean. This is Bay of Bengal. This is Arabian Ocean, and here it is South China Sea, and this is also called as Andaman Sea. So this Malacca Strait. Okay, this is Malacca Strait. What is strait? Strait is a water body which separates two land masses. So this strait is very significant in the global trade, especially in the Indo-Pacific region, because more than almost 80% of the trade in Indo-Pacific region goes through this particular area. So now understand the strategic significance of Nicobar Islands, Andaman Islands, how close they are to this particular region. Suppose in case in future there is any wars, suppose in case in future unfortunately there is any disturbance in the Malacca Strait, then we can control the Malacca Strait because we are very close to this Malacca Strait. Okay, so that is why this Nicobar Island project is very important for us in strategically and even as in trade and economy as well. Okay, so that is the argument of government. We'll discuss other arguments as well. Apart from this, what are the components of this project? So what are involved in this Great Nicobar project? First one is Greenfield International Airport. What is Greenfield? Greenfield is a newly constructed airport. What is Brownfield? Brownfield is already constructed, already there. Now it is being renewed, or now this is being renewed. Okay, or reconstructed. Then it is called as Brownfield. Whereas in Greenfield, it is complete project happening altogether. To enhance connectivity and strategic mobility, deep sea port in Galatea Bay. Aim is to support commercial shipping and strategic naval operations. Then industrial corridor and economic zones. promotes trade, logistics, and employment opportunities. Next, urban and tourism development. Resorts and urban settlements designed to boost the tourism, similar to the lines of Andaman and Lakshadweep Islands. Andaman tourism is already high, and Lakshadweep on the Arabian Sea is also very high in tourism. So now it is to convert this model in Nicobar Islands as well. Next, roads and utilities, that is infrastructure expansion to integrate industrial, commercial, and residential areas. So aim is not only the economical development but also the development of the locals there. So we already discussed the strategic significance, that is close to Malacca Strait, busiest states, and also strengthens India's position in the Indo-Pacific region, and also in line with the Sagar initiative, that is security and growth for all in the region policy. Next, the developmental benefits of this project is enhances port-led growth, air connectivity, and logistics infrastructure. Next, promotes job creation, tourism, and economic opportunities. Supports India's blue economy vision. That is one of the vision under Mission 2047 or India Vision at 2047. Okay, so that is why it is very important as well. Next, what are the concerns raised? Recently, there is an article which is written by Sonia Gandhi. She called this a making of an ecological disaster in Indian islands. So let us first discuss what are the concerns of opposition, why they are so opposite, or why they are always criticizing this Great Nicobar project. So first is the concerns. First is with respect to uprooting tribal identity. Uprooting tribal identity. They say that the construction of these ports, the clearing of these forests is going to uproot the tribal identities. Who are the tribals in this particular project? First is the Nicobaris. They say that it will result in Nicobaris displacement. That is, project overlaps with the ancestral villages of Nicobaris. Many were already displaced by the 2004 tsunami, and their return is now almost impossible. Added to that, if you construct Nicobar project or a Great Nicobar project, then these Nicobaris will not be able to return to their ancestral villages. You might ask, what if you are not able to return to ancestral village? You will be given somewhere, you will be given rehabilitation somewhere in the Nicobar project itself, and Nicobar Island itself. So why worry so much? But you have to understand, these are the tribals. These are the indigenous communities. For them, the land is not just the land or not just property. For them, land is connected to their ancestors. Land is connected to their ancestors. In anthropology, there is a concept called as nature man spirit complex, which is given by famous anthropologist LP Vidyarthi. LP Vidyarthi. According to LP Vidyarthi, the tribal communities or the indigenous communities' lives revolve around this nature, man, and spirit complex. Let us apply this to Nicobaris. For Nicobaris, the nature is forest and the sea surrounding them, and the man here is the Nicobaris themselves, and the spirit here is the ancestral spirit. Ancestral spirit. So the connection goes like this. Any action they want to do, they will first take the permission of their ancestors. They will worship the ancestors, and then they will go for using the nature. How they will use the nature? In forest for agriculture, in sea for fishing. In sea for fishing. This was found out by LP Vidyarthi when he studied Maler community. Maler community. So after studying the Maler community, he devised nature man spirit complex, and one more person is there called as V.S. Sahai. He studied the nature man spirit complex in Nicobaris, and he found out that there is a complex present in Nicobaris as well. So now, if you are removing them from their ancestor lands, this nature man spirit complex is going to get broken down. When this is broken down, the very basic identity of Nicobaris is going to be broken down as well. Okay, now you understand what is the significance of land for these tribals. That is why they are in criticism or they are in opposition to this Nicobar project. Next, another important tribe which is in news in this particular case is Shrompman tribe. The Shrompmen are classified as particularly vulnerable tribal groups, that is PVTG. Their land is denotified and the forest destroyed, risking the cultural and ecological extinction of these Shrompman tribes. What are the PVTGs? Particularly vulnerable tribes, or previously called as primitive tribal groups. So why primitive? They were primitive because of their economy, they are primitive because of the polity they follow, they are primitive because of the literacy level, the primitive because of their isolation from the mainland. So these particularly vulnerable tribal groups, they need to safeguard their primitivity. They need to safeguard this isolation. So in order to protect them, what we should provide? Provide them security and safety from the mainland development. From the mainland development, so that they can restore their or they can retain their cultural identities. Now, if you are going to build this roads, etc., etc., obviously this PVTG are going to lose their primitive nature itself. Okay, then violation of tribal safeguards. Sonia Gandhi argued that Article 338A mandates consultation with NCST. What is NCST? It is National Commission for STs or Scheduled Tribes, which was bypassed. She says that under Article 338A, any project which is going to have any impact on the STs or going to have any impact on the PVTG groups, then the recommendation or the mandate of NCST is mandatory. But here their mandates or their consultation was bypassed here. So it is against the violation of constitution itself. Next, tribal council objections were ignored as well, and no objection letter was coerced and later revoked. Okay, initially they got no objection certificate or no objection letter from the tribal groups or the tribal council, but it was later found that tribal council gave this no objection certificate in pressure from the government, in pressure from all the stakeholders. As a result, it was taken away. Next, mockery of the legal and regulatory safeguards. Sonia Gandhi also argues that there was no legal and regulatory safeguards followed in this case. She gives certain points here. First is social impact assessment. She said that it excluded the Nicobaris, Shrompmans, and denying the stakeholder status. What is social impact assessment? First, you have to understand the environment impact assessment. Whenever you go for a project, first you do the environment impact assessment. That is, what will be the impact of this project on the environment. After assessing, you try to reduce the impact of this project on the environment. Okay, you try to reduce the impact of. So this is before environment impact assessment, and this is after environment impact assessment. That is, once you do the environment impact assessment, the impact of project on the environment will be reduced. Okay, so whenever you are destroying more forest, if you do the assessment, less forest will be taken away. Similar to that environment impact assessment, there is social impact assessment. That is, the impact of project on the society is assessed here, and the aim is to reduce the ill impacts of the project on the society itself. So when you want to reduce the ill impacts of the project on the society, you go for social impact assessment. In the social impact assessment, one of the important step is consultation. Consultation. Who is to be consulted here? It is the stakeholder. And who is the stakeholder here? The stakeholder here is tribals. Who is the tribals here? Nicobaris. So where is their opinion asked here? No. So obviously it is a bypass. It is a violation of social impact assessment. Yes. Forest Rights Act. That is, Shrompin authority to protect forest was ignored as well. Forest Rights Act of 2006 provides certain rights such as title rights, such as user rights, such as joint forest management right, and other rights. So here all these rights provided by the Forest Rights Act 2006 were not considered here. So it is the blatant violation of statutory provisions provided by the government itself. Next, constitutional neglect. That is, the bodies like NCST, tribal councils were sidelined, undermining the democratic accountability. So Sonia Gandhi said that the project is a mockery of rigor and regulatory safeguards. Apart from this, she also criticizes the farce of compensatory afforestation. I've already discussed about compensatory afforestation in one of the shorts. You can go back and check in the shorts. But just what is compensatory afforestation? If you are doing a project somewhere else, if you are doing a project in some areas, the forest will be cut down. If this forest is cut down, it is called as deforestation. As a compensation, you have to plant seed drum somewhere else. That is afforestation. You have to do the afforestation somewhere else. Okay. So here normally, if you are cutting down trees in Nicobar, you expect the people to logically expect them to plant trees in the Nicobar itself. But in current compensation, what is happening here is the deforestation is being done in Nicobar, but the afforestation is done in Haryana, which is so many miles away from Nicobar itself. So Sonia Gandhi calls this a farce itself. Afforestation mismatch, that is planting in Haryana, which is far from Nicobar's unique ecology. Mining contradiction, that is quarter of afforestation land is auctioned for mining already, which nullifies the mitigation. Next, coastal regulation zone violation as well. That is, port site is in CRZ 1A, which according to the coastal regulation zone is highly protected, meaning no developmental activities are allowed in coastal regulation zone 1A. But what are they doing here? They are bypassing the rules in coastal regulation zones itself. So now they are allowing to build a port here. So prohibiting the construction due to turtle nesting and coral reefs, but we are bypassing all these things and we are building ports there, which is going to have impact on the turtle nesting as well as coral reef itself. Then ecological and wildlife concerns. Nicobar is important for this Nicobar Wildlife Sanctuary, which is housing some of the biodiversity, unique biodiversity we can say, which is endemic to that region. What is endemic? Endemic in the sense such a species which can be found in a particular region. Species which can be found in a particular region are called as endemic. Meaning, if you remove this particular region, if you result in habitat loss of this particular region, then this endemic species will go extinct. So very survival of this species depends on the land itself. So such one of the few examples is Nicobar tailed macaque. The survival risk warning ignored here. Sea turtles, here the off-season surveys were compromised accuracy. The surveys of turtles was done in the off-season. When you do survey of off-season, obviously the turtles number will be very less. Only when you do survey in the on-season, that is when there is a mating season, when the turtles come to shore to lay eggs, then the turtle number will be obviously high. If you do the survey during that time, then it is mean that the turtle number is very high and this project cannot be carried forward. So they bypassed the protocol here also. They bypass the protocol by doing the survey in the off season. Next, dugong. What is dugong? Dugong is also called as sea cow, which is endemic to Nicobar and Munnar Islands. Nicobar Islands, Andaman Islands, and Munnar National Park. Okay. So here also what they did is the survey of dugongs was done in drone. So animal is living in the water and you are doing the survey from the drone. So only when the animal is flowing near to the surface, you'll be able to capture them. If they are floating or if they are swimming below or if they are swimming close to the ground, then obviously you will not be able to recognize them. So according to the drone survey, the number of dugong were also recorded less. As a result, they continued with the project. So here also fast here. And bias assessments, that is reports allegedly conducted under duress undermine the credibility. This is according to the opposition. And one more important thing that was highlighted is the disaster proneness of this location. This location is disaster prone. This is exemplified from the examples, that is tsunami history. The 2004 earthquake in Indonesia, which resulted in a tsunami, which ultimately led to death of more than 2 lakh people all around the world, and it also impacted Nicobar Islands. It caused 15 feet subsidence of Nicobar Islands. So in case another earthquake, another tsunami happens to be in the future, then all the projects that are being built on the shore will be submerged. Next, seismic risk, that is July 2025 witnessed 6.2 magnitude earthquake. So this Nicobar Island is one of the most seismically active zones in India. Seismically active zones in India, with active volcanoes surrounding them, with active seismic zones surrounding them. So if you are going to pressurize these areas with construction, then it will induce more seismicity. Okay. Then investment and safety, that is infrastructure and lives face a catastrophic risk from earthquakes and tsunamis. Okay. So these are the concerns raised by the opposition. So what are the justification given by the government then? Government says that Nicobar project is a project of strategic and national importance. Bhupendra Yadav, who is the Union Cabinet Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, the representative of the government, went head to head against Sonia Gandhi. He said that he says that the Great Nicobar Island Project is a strategic, defense and national importance project. The project includes international container transshipment terminal, greenfield international airport, 450 mega MVA gas and solar based power plant, township development, and over 16,610 hectares. So all these things are aimed at improving economy, improving strategic, improving defense aspects of Nicobar Island, and strategic and developmental importance. The Bhupendra Yadav says that the project aims to make Great Nicobar a maritime and air connectivity hub in the Indian Ocean region. It is expected to boost defense preparedness, economic growth, and employment generation. So this is mainly seen from the developmental aspects. Okay. Next, environmental safeguards. Minister for MOFCC says that the environmental safeguards have been taken. The due necessary safeguards have been taken with respect to environmental conservation. He says that comprehensive environment impact assessment were done, environmental management plans were done, and they were conducted previously. And 81.55 rupees crore has already been released for wildlife conservation studies before the construction even began. So he says that due safeguards have been taken. Out of 130 square kilometer of the forest land required, 66 square kilometer will remain green without tree felling here. Okay, so only rest of the places will be tree felling, but these places of almost 66 square kilometers will remain green only. Next, compensatory afforestation is planned in Haryana due to the lack of non-forest land in the islands. For this forest compensatory afforestation, as claimed by Sonia Gandhi, the minister said that we are doing compensatory afforestation in Haryana because there is no land available on the Nicobar project or Nicobar Islands to build these forests. Okay. Next, wildlife corridors and viaducts are planned for the safe passage of animals. So there is no need to worry about the biodiversity. Next, for tribal safeguards, he says that there will be no displacement of the Shompen or the Nicobar tribes is planned here. There will be no displacement, and consultations with the Anthropological Survey of India, Ministry of Tribal Affairs, and Andaman Adim Jati or Janajati Vikas Samiti have been conducted. Based on the consultation of all these things, we are taking away or we are going up with National Andaman Nicobar project. Out of 84 square kilometers tribal reserve affected, 73 square kilometers will be denotified, but 76 square kilometers will be renotified again, leading to a net increase of 3 or 4 kilometers in the tribal reserve. They are saying there will be more 4 kilometers added to the net reserves. Okay, because they are denotifying certain areas, but they are notifying certain areas for the tribals itself. So there is no loss for tribal habitats as well. Next, provisions comply with Jarawa policy and Shompen policy of 2015. Jarawas are the tribe found in Andaman Islands, and Shompens are tribe found in Nicobar Islands. A monitoring committee has been set up for tribal welfare during and after project execution as well. Next, balancing ecology and economy. The minister says that institutions like Zoological Survey of India, Biological Survey of India, SACON, and Wildlife Institute of India have been involved in the ecological studies. The project is portrayed as economy and ecology complementing each other, ensuring economical safeguards, environmental safeguards, along with development as well. So he is saying that we have taken due necessary safeguards required for environment, ecology, biodiversity, tribals, and disaster as well. So this project has to be carried forward. Only 2% of Andaman Nicobar Islands total area and 1.82% of its forest will be diverted for this project. Nothing more than that. So in essence, the Great Nicobar Island Project is projected as strategic economic and ecological balancing act aiming to make India a stronger player in the Indo-Pacific while safeguarding tribal welfare and biodiversity. However, its success will depend on the transparent implementation and continuous ecological monitoring. So we have seen the arguments for and against this Nicobar project. So write down in the comment box, what do you think? Should India consider the significance of Indo-Pacific region and go ahead with this Great Nicobar project, or should India be compassionate with respect to the tribals and cut down this project? Let us know in the comment box. With this, I will end the video. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.